the business information. We have a page that is displaying the company information. We want to guide you as you fill out the tool. So for this worksheet, you could already work to fill out your company name. What is your company name, for example? When was the company established? I hope we can work together with you over there. Then you can also fill out what's your core business activity. Remember, we said if you have more than 3 core activities, please do fill that out in order of priority. And then what is the current number of employees, both permanent and short term? So at the moment, our dummy company has 20 employees. What was our annual business turnover? That was about 500,000 or 500 million Uganda shillings. So that's our dummy company. And if we've had any previous experience in oil and gas, we this. So we shall click no. Now, for those of you who want to click yes, you will have time to clearly outline the projects and contracts you've undertaken. Remember, we have about 3 working days to complete and submit the tool. So as we go along the tool, there are some sections we shall leave you to complete at leisure, such that at least we manage time and are able to move ahead. Because these are not common answers, we will let you look at the sheet at your convenience and complete it. And with that, allow me to take brief stock and see if this beginning page is entirely clear to you. You can give me a thumbs up in the chat if all is good. If not, use the comment section, the chat section, to pose your question, and we'll try to address every question as we go along. Okay, thank you, wonderful people. So let's proceed and look, because it thumbs up. Let's proceed. Let's use our fresh energies on the tool. Okay. So I hope all of you were able to find the session. Otherwise, we would have to explain some aspects to you. Remember, as we said, we are going to fill out aspect by aspect. And as we are looking at the first aspect of the tool, we want you to click as we go along. And where you see the qualitative input and additional comments, this you can fill out afterwards, after careful thought. And you have all to put all additional comments in the chat. What we shall concentrate upon for now are the aspects whereby you have to click yes or no, and also for us to make sure you understand all the aspects, and you would be able to independently fill out the tool later on. Okay, we are kickstarting. Give me a thumbs up. Be generous with the thumbs up. We are going to go aspect by aspect, and where you require further clarification, or where we think that this aspect needs a deeper understanding, we shall let the matter focus team interject occasionally to give you more insight into what the aspect really needs, so that you make an informed decision and you put accurate answers. Let's start with legal compliance. Does your company have a valid tax clearance certificate for last year? Here we mean 2024. So did you process it? Do you have it? Yes. You didn't process it? You didn't have it? No. And this certificate is gotten from the Uganda Revenue Authority. If you're not familiar with a tax clearance certificate, then please click no for purposes of this tool. All right, we are moving efficiently. As you can see, our dummy company has the certificate, so we can click yes. The second aspect, did you process a Social Security compliance certificate at any one time last year from the National Social Security Fund? If yes, our dummy company, we shall say no. it didn't process this. And later in the comment section, we shall give more as what happened there. Then we ask, does your company file annual returns with Uganda Distribution Services Bureau? If yes, please do the needful. If no, and if you've not been familiarized with this, then please click no. And whether or not you have an operational license for the previous year, please click accordingly. Now, we want to pause for any questions of understanding before we move to the next compliance aspect. If not, a thumbs up would do. But if you have a question to understand any of this, I see a hand up. Okay, maybe it's a thumbs up. If you have a question, really put it in the chat because we are unable to distinguish between a raised hand and a thumbs up. And please do keep using the chat. It doesn't matter if we've navigated away from the question. Please do raise the question at any one point. Feel free. And yeah, so we are not sure if that's a hand or a chat. Use the chat for questions. Okay. Do we file? There is a question here from Shirley already. Do we file annual returns with URSB or URA? There is a question there.
Annual returns are filed with URSB. They're different from annual tax returns. They're annual returns which report on shareholding and shareholding. It also filed with URSB.
Okay, Shirley, is that clear to you? Hopefully so. So there is a difference between annual returns and annual tax returns. Okay, we have a question from Ambrose. Does the company have to apply for a tax clearance certificate at the end of the year?
Yes. Every financial year, you are supposed to file for annual tax clearance certificate. Yes.
Okay, that's it for you, Ambrose. That's a yes. Then we have Jessica. Which operational permit or license is not clear? Okay. For housekeeping, the person responding is not clear. And the echo is back. Okay. Okay, let's sound check again. The echo is very loud. Okay. Sound check. Is the echo still bad? Is it still bad? Because we are... People, do we still have an echo? It's clear now, it's minimal. Okay, that's a pity, but you say it has stabilized. Let's hope it stays that way. And return to the question section. Okay, Jessica is asking which operational permit or license in particular. Kindly be specific.
I imagine here we are looking at trading license, which is what every business is required to have. But I think some professional services also have their own licenses. But at the basic minimum, I think it's a trading license provided by the local council. It could be KCCA or WAKISO, depending on which district you operate in.
Okay, Jessica, in this case, do let us know whether you have a permit from your respective local government to operate. Then we have a question. My company was compliant, but we didn't apply for TCC. What do we take? Okay, so Ambrose, that's a no for you. And yes, you have to have applied and received the certificate. In respect to the years in the template, are we looking at the calendar year of financial year, like in local government? That's a question from Brian.
The returns, it's the financial year.
For tax returns, I think that you use the financial year. Trading license, there is a calendar year.
Okay. Very quickly, I'll go through the questions. What happens if the company, this is a question from Vanessa. What happens if the company got NSSF registration this year and the certificate is 2025? That's okay, Vanessa. Kindly click yes. And then we have a question from Gordon. Gordon, we can see you're already enthusiastic and towards the lower end of the sheet. Kindly wait for us. Don't go without us because you're asking about the annual gross income. Just wait a bit for that. Oh. Okay. People, aren't you hearing anything? Because some people are saying they're not hearing anything because Sandra's mic is on mute, but we are using a different mic. Do please confirm if the audio is good, because otherwise we can't have a meaningful session.
It's clear.
Thumbs up. Let's see if we have more thumbs up on the sound. Audio is clear, but the gentleman is not clear. I think.
It's no longer audible, Christine.
All right, we are sorting out the sound to have the additional speakers also loud and clear. But meanwhile, for those who missed the reply on someone said I did not get the response on the returns. Okay, now I'm also not sure which returns, but what if I don't file annual returns? Oh, okay, that was a question we skipped. What if I don't file annual returns? Then, my dear, it's a no. You click no for purposes of this. Now, investigating why you don't file annual returns, why ABCD, that's a discussion for next week's annual planning. For purposes of this tool, please click no. Remember, once we go through the tool in detail, for companies that are still struggling in particular aspects, we shall have you stay behind and also then have all your questions answered thoroughly. For now, allow us to proceed to the next aspect, and that will be, okay. We are sorting out the sound. Don't worry, by the time we get a next response, it will be clear. So the question from Shirley is the question is on URA or URSB. So my dear, both, although one is for URA, those are the annual tax returns, and the other is for URSB, which are the annual returns. These are distinct and are both applied for differently. So we hope, okay, company annual returns. So Shirley, I hope that is now clear. And let's return to our business diagnostics tool to look at another aspect of compliance, which is corporate compliance. Here, we are rather very clear, asking and wanting to know whether you have a procurement policy in place. If yes, no, our dummy company has no procurement policy. It also has no anti-corruption policy. Similar to that, it also doesn't have an anti-sexual harassment policy, and it has no data protection policy. Please emulate and do the same. If there is an aspect of compliance that we've mentioned that you're not familiar with, if you do not know what is a sexual harassment policy and it's a quick question that doesn't require deep diving, gladly put it in the chat and we are going to respond. In the meantime, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know if we can proceed. Please let me know if we can proceed. Okay, perfect. That's it for corporate compliance. And I hope you're ticking as we go along. Let's proceed to national content compliance. The aspect of national content compliance, we had promised to give you a bit more detail into what national content is. Let's pull up that slide in a while to let you know what national content is. Remember, for any additional input, qualitative input, additional comments, please use the additional columns, and these you can fill out after the exercise so that you at least invest some more thought and recognize the challenges accurately. All right, so what's national content? We are putting the slide in full mode. National content refers to the portion of goods and services that are sourced locally within a country. Within the context of oil and gas, each time you submit a bid, it is required that you submit along a national content plan. This plan details aspects of how you plan to enhance national content development on employment, how you plan to build and employ Ugandan staff, what kind of goods and services. Oh, allow me to stop. Has this tool been shared anywhere? Yes, Dilham. You received a tool invite yesterday. It has also this PPT and the key definitions, because it would be great if you were able to follow along. Please drop your email in the chat and let us forward to you a tool immediately, because we need you to move along with us. Just drop your email in the chat, and then we can send you the tool immediately, and you're also able to follow along. Yes, Daniel? Okay, that's good. Okay, let's return to the national content. So national content also has aspects of goods and services. Where do you procure your goods and services? And how do you enhance and train capacities of staff? And how do you enhance knowledge transfer? Okay, we are going to return to the tool, but we are seeing so many emails that haven't received the tool. Please only put your email if you haven't received the tool. Looks like it's quite a number of people, but we are going to share the tool with all of you. People who are posting your email in the chat, are you trying to communicate that you didn't receive the tool? Because you're quite a number, it's a bit surprising. Okay, they're all trying to say they didn't receive the tool. Please, apologies for that. Let's copy and make sure you get the tool. But meanwhile, I don't know if we can, let's have, oh wow, there are so many emails. Okay, so it's likely that this tool wasn't shared with you by the respective entity that registered. Let's just use 2 or 3 minutes to make sure you have this tool so that it's a more meaningful experience. Is that okay, people? Let's just take a break and copy all your emails so that you receive that tool. It would have been prudent for the people dedicating you to this training to give you the tool, but let's copy and make sure. Let's take a brief break to make sure. I also didn't attend on the 25th. Am I supposed to be here today? Yes, you're in the right place, Eric. If you haven't done the diagnostic, don't go away. We have you. Let's copy your emails and send you the tool. Please do post your emails immediately. Okay, as we are sorting out to make sure you all receive the tool. Oh my God, so many emails. We are going to do two things for now. We are going to reshare the invitation to everyone and also look at your emails and share. So if people, please, even they were not hearing. Okay, so if you didn't receive the tool at all, we are going to make sure you receive it now. But also, if you were supposed to attend tomorrow, but for some reason or another, you've logged in for today, no worries about it. You stay on the call, you won't have to attend tomorrow. So we are copying all your emails to make sure we share the tool. Give us a minute. All right, so thank you for that kind break. We requested for a very brief break to make sure everyone has the tool. We imagine you were not able to receive the tool because the email address you used to log in today or you registered with us, you've not been able to access it. So Shiba, you're not able to hear us? Please confirm sound check again. Okay, sound check is clear. People who are unable to hear us, please first check your settings because we keep on getting interrupted by trying to do sound checks. By now, many of you should have received the tool. We think that because of different email addresses used to register, also kindly engage your admins or bosses to share all communications. Whoever mans the info emails at your end should be able to share resources with you as we submit. Okay, let us proceed in a hastened manner. We are on the part of national content compliance. Is your company classified as a Ugandan company by the Petroleum Authority of Uganda? So if you went through the National Supplier Database registration process, you should be knowing that. If you do not know, then you're probably not registered as a Ugandan company. So click no. Do you have more than 70% Ugandan employees? Our dummy does have more than that, so we can ably click yes. Then do you have a national content manager? We do not have, so we are clicking yes, someone in charge of national content. Have we developed a national content plan? No. And then do we have a value addition plan? Also, no. Okay. Do fill out the sections and let us know if you have pending questions. We shall keep looking at the chat. For now, we have a question from Dilham. After filling out the form, shall it just be sent or do I reshare? Okay. I will give you further details. We have a link in the chat where you can upload your tool. Just hold on. Let us take you through the tool. At the end of the tool, you have a link where to upload this diagnostic tool. Okay. Let's proceed to HSC if there are no questions. Does your company have an HSC policy? Please, yes or no. Do you have any workplace certifications in terms of HSC? Yes or no. And do you have an HSC manager? Let's see what our dummy says. They have an HSC manager. Please do the same. And remember, you have time. Those of you who want to submit already, please hold on because we also require some qualitative input that you would have to fill out in the sheet. Question is coming in from David. We are registered with NSD but are not classified yet. Will that affect us? Okay. Okay, for the purposes of the tool, you have to put no. How it will affect you, I don't know in what regard, whether winning jobs and tenders. Also, I think if that's the question you're referring to, if it will affect you if you're not yet classified. Oh, do you want to answer, Sandra?
Yeah, so we have a question on classification. I think that's what she means. So if you're not classified, you indicate that you're not. That way we are able to help you. We are able to help you to find out the reasons why and then fix them here at the center. So indicate that you're not yet classified even when you're registered.
Okay, thank you very much. Someone is wondering whether we shall share a screen recording for today, and also whether we will share that of last time. We surely did share the screen recording of last session. I think it's now an effort for you to get in touch with the registered email address to get all this information, because immediately after our session, we were able to share the BD tool, the recordings, and everything. And that is the same thing we shall do today. So we shall not share to your personal email addresses, but to the email address that the company registered for the bespoke training capacity building program. Please liaise with your superiors to make sure they either give you access to this email or
I took it and I left it for the whole day. They say they wanted 2 days. I said, what was that? It's a place in.
Okay, people, remember, we don't want to know all your secrets. We don't have a secret vault where to store them. Please share sparingly and always mute your mics, as we also endeavor to mute all, and then unmute, 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 mute, unmute. It's quite laborious. We ask you courteously to keep the mics on mute. Okay, so please look out for the information we share on the email address you registered with us, as it's likely you will miss out on important information if you man your personal email only. Other questions? Is the workplace certification from Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development? Yes, please, Jessica. And then what do you mean by being classified by PAU? Let's tell you what we mean.
Yes. So when you register with the PAU, National Supply Database, and that was really one of our criteria for this bespoke. So our assumption is that you're all registered on the NSB. The PAU goes ahead to classify you as a Ugandan company or as a foreigner. So that's what we are asking. You get that classification.
Okay, thank you for that input, Sandra. We have a similar comment in the section. We lost, this is from Amy. We lost a wonderful bid this year because we are not classified. Apologies for that, Amy. Just to let you know, we said we have regular drives with the National Supplier Database. Your PAU comes here to support and fast track. Actually, if you had been knowing us back then, you wouldn't have landed into this hot seat. We would have supported you because PAU fast tracks applications for companies that are currently under the bidding process. Do please check in with us. Our next drive is 27th to 28th. We're also going to share a link for you to register for the National Supplier Database. Look out for that. Let's put it in the chat. Those of you who are having any issues getting classified, renewing your certification, because at least all companies here only got in because they're on the database. So does that mean having an NSD number? No, you could have an NSD number, but you're classified as Ugandan. Okay. A question from Dilham: where will this information be shared if not per the email address used to attend the training, so that it's distributed with efficiency? Okay, so we are unable to collect email addresses used for the training. And for sustainability, we want to engage the official email that was recorded. So any new email addresses, unfortunately, may miss out on information. We just urge you to either look out for the email address you registered. If you've changed it meanwhile, kindly share with us a new email and make sure you look out for the information. We cannot add personal emails to our database, unfortunately. So only email addresses that were registered under the bespoke, when you are putting in your email address, those are the ones we shall communicate with. If you've changed, gladly inform us and we shall take it. Okay, someone is requesting for the registration link. Let's share that again. And yeah, this information, as so many times said, we shall do that. So Prudence, I answered the question already. It doesn't mean having a number, but classification is really classification. So Sharon says they didn't receive an email last time. We've shared with you, but the issue of emails can only be solved once you look at the emails you gave us originally. Okay, let's bank the Q&A for now and move on to operational efficiency. We want to know, do you have any manual or handbook for standard operating procedures? Do you have any inventory management system? And if yes, you mentioned which ones. Do you have any operational key performance indicators? And for process optimization, we could have a brief input from Matabakas, what we mean by maybe inventory management, some examples, and any examples for operational key performance indicators.
For the inventory management, it's a system. It's a system that you use to manage your inventory. And this could be, for instance, if you don't want to hold up too much stock, you might have a just-in-time management system where you only buy stock as and when you need it, so that you don't need to keep it tied up in stock. The other one was key operational indicators might include, for instance, waiting time for making deliveries to your customers, so you monitor that. It may also include payments to suppliers. How long you get to pay your suppliers? So those could be key performance indicators.
Okay, thank you for that input. We hope that's clear. And moving on, we want to look at another aspect of operational efficiency that entails how you adapt technology in your company. What we are asking, do you have any process automations? Do you have an innovation strategy? And do you use any innovative software or hardware? Okay, we can also have some input from Matt Abakas as to what we refer to when we mean, do you have any process automations, and whether you use any innovative software.
Softwares are used to enhance our operations and ensure better efficiency and effectiveness in what we are doing. For example, you can have an accounting software that you use to ensure that your accounting data is captured in a timely manner, and you can be able to produce your reports on time without wasting a lot of time, as opposed to if you are using a manual system. So that's just an example of a software that you can use to automate your processes. You can also be able to use that accounting software for invoicing your customers, so that the invoices and the number are generated in a chronological manner. Thank you so much. Back to you, Christine.
Okay, thank you, Matt Abakas. Were you also able to highlight the, okay, so it was process automations and types of innovative software. Okay, All right, please, we are going to put the registration link in the chat. And yes, you have to fill out the qualitative input section, but not now. You will have more time later on to complete this section. Yes. Okay, let's please move on to the sessions below. The next question was on patents, whether you've registered any patents or copyrights. Let's also have an explanation on that if someone is unaware of whether to click yes or no.
Is legal right that gives you exclusive rights to use an innovation exclusively without without any interference, so that there are no other players in the market to allow that innovation to take place. So that is a patent. What was the next?
Copyright.
A copyright is also kind of similar to a patent. It's a legal right that gives you exclusive rights to produce, sell, use a service.
Okay.
Just a second.
So,
Yeah, maybe quickly to add on that, some companies where you have a specialized kind of industry like the oil and gas, you'll find that one of the management members or team players is actually leaving during the time of developing a patent. So sometimes you design their agreements in ways that if they left, they are kind of bonded, that maybe they are not employed or they cannot join a competitor in about 3 to 6 months after leaving you. So you can easily change your technology. I submit.
okay, thank you very much for that. Let's move on. If you're able to click yes or no for our dummy, we don't have any of those aspects, so we shall click no. And then we move on to efficient resource management. What we want to know here is whether your company has any energy efficient technologies like solar appliances, energy saving equipment, anything of that such. If you're able to identify anything smoothly, please do click yes. If no, please click no. Then do you have any cost management strategies? Let's elaborate with some examples from Mata Bakas on strategies you can have to mitigate and cut costs. Okay, the link is coming right up.
Okay. Cost management strategies may include bulk purchasing, where you purchase in bulk to avoid buying little by little in small batches. So bulk purchasing is a cost management strategy. Also, managing your inventory is a very good cost management strategy because it helps you project when and how much inventory you are going to need. I think those are the two I can think about. And also budgeting is a cost management strategy because it helps in planning your purchases and forecasts. So it helps you project your cash flows so that you're able to gain cost efficiencies.
Okay, thank you for that. We hope you could identify from the submission some examples of how you're able to manage costs. If you could relate to any of the items that were submitted and shared, please click yes. If you couldn't relate at all and all you do is spend, in this case, we put a no. Our dummy company also hasn't taken caution so far, so we shall indicate that we do not have any cost management strategies. Okay, as we proceed, a question comes in for clarification from Shirley. Would I compare the patents to a non-compete clause in an agreement according to the submission made?
Thank you, Shirley. Well, you wouldn't do that. This is only to help you guard against transfer of your technologies. Yeah, I submit.
Okay, Shirley. So no, the two things are not comparable. If you need to deep dive and understand both better, we are available in the extended session to guide you through that. Then the next question is on whether you have a supplier relationship management policy, anything that you do to make sure you have a good relationship with your suppliers, any framework agreements, name it. Please do indicate. For our dummy, we do have something. Okay, let's have a brief thumbs up. I want to take stock a bit to see if we can move on to financial health as we go along. Even one thumbs up is enough for me to revitalize. Okay, I have that, and let's proceed to financial health and positioning. Was your company's annual gross turnover above 360 million last year? And in the comment section, you will let us know how much that was and also indicate the challenges you had raising this money. This is for later, but for now, please do click yes or no, whether it was above or as required. Then, did you access any commercial forms of financing? Let's have some input to explain to you what we mean by commercial forms of financing so that you can answer this question accurately.
So this is in regards to how easily you can access commercial loans or commercial credit facilities. Mainly there are banks that give lease financing, let's say. And then also there are bank guarantees. Let's say in a specialized industry like it is, you may need a bank guarantee maybe to have a supply made to you of an equipment. So your banker may be able to stand in for you and have the equipment purchased, either locally or import it into the country. I submit.
Okay. I hope you were able to understand that if you've accessed the bank or obtained anything that is then repayable, that is a commercial form of finance. Or okay. There was a question. It's on HSC. I'll return to it. But do let us know if you've also been chanced upon to access any sector-specific financing for oil and gas. That would be the next question. Please do indicate and let us know if yes or no. Okay, before we move to liquidity, let's address the pending questions because liquidity is quite particular. From Ambrose, I do HSC training on behalf of clients to employees, and I have a certificate issuance system. Can I term that as an innovative software? Let me tell you something, Ambrose. You had us laughing here. We didn't know what to say immediately. I don't know if this is part of your, maybe you're offering an innovative business. I don't know. Please, someone advise Ambrose. Should he regard this as something innovative? We are inclined to say no. Yeah, someone is saying it's a side hustle. But Ambrose?
Always. Right. Yeah.
But I know it's for his company. Just wants to know that once the training is done, then the certificate is automatically issued. But maybe in the end it's innovative. Are there companies that issue manual certificates? Or is it automated? I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's definitely not a side hustle. Ambrose, we're making a joke. Sorry for that. But if you want further detail, and I think we need to understand how how you issue those certificates, and if it's really an innovation, all part of. Okay, for once we are challenged. Thank you, Ambrose. For the purposes of a tool, click yes, because we are also surprised there is a certificate issuing system. But let's deep dive when you come in next week to see what additional innovations we could have. Okay, let's pack that and go to liquidity. Please, people, let's go to liquidity, just a bit up. For liquidity, we're asking three things. The easier ones, whether you had positive cash flows and whether you have any software to manage your cash flows, all systems. But the one that we want to deep dive into and for you to understand is what we mean by the current ratio, because the question is your company's current ratio greater than 1? Let's explain what we mean by a current ratio and then let you decide whether to click yes or no.
The current ratio measures your company's ability to pay off its debts, to pay off your current liabilities. And it uses the formula current assets over current liabilities. So if your current assets are greater than your liabilities, then your current ratio will be greater than 1. And this shows a good position of your ability to clear your current liabilities. But if your current assets are less than your current liabilities, it means that the current ratio will be less than 1, which is an indicator that you are not able to clear your current liabilities, which can be a problem for the company. So this is one of the ratios that needs to be monitored for the financial health of your business and for decision making.
Okay. Hope you had that clear. Current ratio is very important in determining the health of your establishment. Do have it greater than 1 to be confident that you're in good health. Anything below 1 is a bit worrisome, but no fret. The IEC is here to improve and help you target better performance. So do you have, okay, the next aspect of this is profitability. Now, Sandra, I think there are 2 questions that we needed to click yes or no. I don't want them to be skipped. Okay. Did you operate with positive cash flows over the past year? Let's have just a slight input on what cash flows we mean before we proceed on whether you report about it.
The cash flow is the amount of the cash flow position measures the amount of money coming into and going out of your of the organization. If you have positive cash flows, the cash flow management normally targets a period. It could be from 3 months, 6 months. Some people do cash flows for a full year, but it helps you to ensure that you do not run out of cash to run your business. So it is used as a decision-making tool for the business.
Okay, so there you know it. Do you have enough money at hand to manage and run business operations, and do you report about it? Do click yes or no as we proceed. Then we get to profitability. Okay, we are also going to have an explanation on what is profitability. Then all you have to do at the end is to let us know whether you recorded any profits during the last year.
Profitability, to put it simply, is simply an indication of whether you have made any money over and above your costs of operations. Quite simply, if I'm selling a bottle of water at 1,000 and it has cost me 500, it means, roughly speaking, we have 500 shillings in profit. That is what you define as your gross profit margin. I think that's enough for the purposes here.
Okay. People in the chat section, we are coming right to you. Allow us to complete financial management control systems. So We just want to know whether you have any financial management policies, whether you prepare annual financial statements, at least if they were prepared last year, and whether you have audited books of accounts for the past year, and if you have any internal control systems in place. We'll give you time to fill that out, and also for those that are having issues understanding any of those concepts, our dummy company is choosing to have yes and no, but let's go to the chat. And if you require clarification on any of those aspects of financial management and financial control, please do drop them in the chat. Okay, let's look at a few questions as we move ahead. We don't want to leave anyone behind. Which document? No, I had skipped one. A question from Edmond. Kindly elaborate with an example on specific financing for oil and gas. Okay, what we mean is if you've received financing from Petroleum Authority of Uganda in form of a grant, whether debt or equity, national content fund, if any tier 1 contractor has provided money, maybe for joint financing that is particular for oil and gas. Those are the examples we mean. Which documents are you referring to from the ones you shared? The documents we shared with you were the BD tool, the tool we are going through now, the presentation that we keep on referring to with definitions, and also the link. Those are the only documents that you should confirm having received or not. Okay. When we mention, this is a question from Damasco. When we mention oil and gas, are we specific to upstream or downstream, as well as for the purpose of answering that all? Would be inclined to say upstream and midstream, but if there are some downstream examples, do mention them, but mainly upstream and midstream we refer to. Then Shirley again asks, is this specific to current and excluding long term? She's asking on the current ratio. Is this specific to current and excluding long term?
Yeah, the liquidity ratio is deal with only current assets and current liabilities, where current means within a period of 12 months.
Okay, Shirley, the issue is a period of 12 months. Okay, thank you very much for the questions. We have people who joined in late and are requesting for the tool. Don't worry about that. Let's just drop your email in the chat. We shall let that come intermittently to you, not immediately. We need to manage and see that you get the tool also. Don't worry about that, Janet. Okay, a brief thumbs up as we move to the fourth component, bid management. As I said, it gets better with down below. Once we finish finances, just know it's getting better. It's not going to get worse. Okay, so bid management. We ask, do you have a bid management strategy? Let's clarify what we mean by a bid management strategy.
Strategies are methods that you use to be able to achieve a specific objective. So when we talk about bid management strategy, we are talking about the methods that you use for you to be able to put in your bids. So internally, you have, for example, a manager in charge of bid management. You have a committee. What are the documents that are required? How do you prepare them? And so on and so on. Thank you very much.
Okay, so do check to see if you have a strategy to win those bids in oil and gas. And do you have a committee managing this strategy, or is it no one? And do you also have a bid library we want you to tick as you go along? For those who are wondering what a bid library is, we have additional info coming right up from Matt Abacus.
So when you're bidding, the client or the person that you are bidding to would like to know whether you're compliant. So documents like tax registration, where you need a TIN, documents like the URSB registration for company, documents like the NSSF registration, the local council registration, and then also there are some that are sector-wise, like for oil and gas. So are you categorized to supply? So those are a couple of documents you may need. Also a TCC per se, if you're going to supply to a specific company. So all those would be in your bid library. You keep checking or updating them to see if they're not out of date.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. So if you have a library of sorts that helps you manage your bids, do click yes. And the last question here is whether you perform any evaluation, post-bid evaluation. Why were we or were we not able to win a bid? What were the reasons? What could we improve? Was it a poor financial proposal? Do highlight that through a yes or a no. Don't forget, we have additional comments. Don't submit the tool without attending to the qualitative comments and additional comments. As we review, we shall require you to throw some light into the challenges. Okay, when we come to bidding requirements, we simply want to know whether you have enough resources, mainly human resource, that is technical staff to help you respond and interpret these bids effectively. Do you have any project management skills? Like, have you managed any projects in the past before? Or do you have a project manager? If any of the two apply, click yes. If not, no. Then if you have any previous bidding experience, we are aware that in the first sheet, you could have put and outlined a number of tenders you've won. So for purposes of the assessment, just click yes or no. You don't have to fill out which tenders you won again. Just let us know if you have some experience, bidding experience in the sector. And for the requirements, we want to know, is your company in position to offer any bid security or bid bonds? I know you're dying to type what are bid bonds and what is bid security, so let's give it to you already. What are bid bonds? Okay. Yeah, remember we prepared a slide, a PPT for you that had some key definitions and terms in the package that we received. If you keep referring to it, you will see that we have some key terms that we realized that are a bit hard, a bit stringent, like the bid bonds. Okay, so that's on page, I think page 7. The bid library is also explained here, but also the bid security is a financial guarantee issued by the bank on behalf of the bidder to the contractor or the procuring entity during the bidding process. So this provides assurance to the contractor or procuring entity that the bidder, the person applying for the bid, will honor the terms of their bid if the contract is awarded. So it's really a financial guarantee, and you usually have to get in touch with your bank to provide this kind of security to the contractor. Okay, let's return to the template. And if you are in position to obtain security bids effectively and efficiently, yes. And if we scroll down, Sandra, you would also let us know whether in your bidding experience, you are able to meet all bidding requirements, like the deadline, the format, the documentation attached. Is this an area where you still struggle, or is it all good? Okay, we want to move on to contract management, but we want your hands up once again to give us the go-ahead to proceed or pause. Okay, we'll check the chat meanwhile as you think of additional questions or clarity questions. Let me see where we stopped. We have David. It would be good if oil and gas companies have bid, we have bidded for perhaps, give us feedback as to why we don't win. Yes, David, this is a standard, should be a standard in the sector. In fact, if any company is not giving you feedback, despite a follow-up, you have all the authority to take it up with the Petroleum Authority of Uganda because they are mandated to provide you with feedback why you're not winning bids. However, at the IEC, we have sessions where we invite such contractors, tier 1 contractors, the IOCs. Usually they give feedback when we have a bidding requirement session. Earlier this year, we had a very extensive session as to the common issues why companies do not win bids. But now that you're in our database, we shall keep you abreast of upcoming workshops. And also, if you require to engage a particular contractor, if you're engaging them and they're non-responsive, do let us know to see how we can support you further. Okay, I had my thumbs up already, so we can go to contract management. And this section majorly applies to people who have managed contracts in oil and gas before. For simplicity, if you haven't, please click no throughout. It doesn't mean that your score is going to be terrible and then you're doomed. No, it means that since the contract management process in oil and gas is a bit specific, we know managing a contract is a standard, but the oil and gas has additional requirements, additional considerations that we wouldn't want you to miss out on. So when you click no, we shall take note and make sure as we are assessing your diagnostic result and proposing an action plan, we take consideration of the fact that you're new to the sector. So do please click no, but if you've managed something in the past, let us know how you win, at what rate do you win tenders and contracts. We want to know if the rate is above 50%. If you've bidded for one contract and won it, 100%. If you've bidded for 2 and won 1, 50%. If you've bidded for 10 and won 1, 10%. Just a simple explanation. So if it's above 50, click yes. And then in the additional input, let us know all contracts that you're referring to in this percentage. Then we move on to a question of whether you're tier 1 or a tier 2 contractor. We deep dived into this last time, but to refresh your memory, or if you're newly joining us, if you're a tier 1 contractor, the oil and gas sector is structured to have international oil companies that are licensed by the ministry and the Petroleum Authority of Uganda to be the licensees and IOCs. So if you're contracted directly by any of these entities, you are a tier 1 contractor also. Notable tier 1s in the sector, like we did in the onboarding, we have Schneider Electrics, we have SLB, if you have BTS, we have McDermott, we have Sinopec, quite a number of entities. So if you're contracted directly by them, or by someone they contract, subcontract. If you're not sure, stick around and let us know what kind of contract we have. Then we shall help you determine whether you're tier 1 or a tier 2. Then we also want to know whether the average volume of contracts you've won is above 500,000 US dollars. If you're not aware, then click no. But if you do know, please tell us. And then in our dummy, we do not have any contracts above that amount. We look at contract management practices, whether you have any performance management indicators. In a bit, we will let you know what kind of performance indicators you could have for contract management and whether you could obtain performance management guarantees. Okay, so we shall pull up a slide to explain performance guarantees. In the meantime, let's give you examples of what performance management indicators for a contract could be from Matabakas.
Well, performance management indicators for a contract It's simply something that you use to measure how well you're delivering on your contract. If, for example, it's a construction project, you might have agreed on certain timelines on which you'll be finishing certain phases of the construction. So if you're able to determine that you've finished the phases either within time or even before the deadline, those are measurements that can show you how well you've been performing. And usually you have checks and balances with your clients where they sign off to certify that you've actually achieved these targets. So those are examples of performance measurement indicators. In some simpler industries, it could be even simply delivering what has been ordered on time. If we have asked you to deliver stationery and deliver it on time, the right quantities, you have delivery notes, and so on and so forth. All those can show how well you perform on your contracts.
Okay, so if you have any performance management guarantees in place, when you win contracts, we want you to indicate that, but also we wanted to let you know what a performance guarantee is. So, okay, so a performance guarantee, as we've pulled up the slide, it's a financial instrument similar to a bid security that is also issued by a bank or an insurance company in this case, that assures the project owner that the contractor will fulfill their contractual obligations as agreed. So for some bids and tenders, these aspects are mandatory. We've seen that some IOCs require that you have bid securities and performance guarantees, while in some companies, it's not mandatory. So you need to be aware as you apply if this is a required document or not. Okay, let's switch back to the tool and see how we perform on contract management. Okay, the last aspect here for contract management was whether we perform any stakeholder engagement or mapping for major contracts. So do you engage any other stakeholders once you win a contract, or is this now all to yourself? Do you use any tools to manage your contracts, software? Let us know. Do you have any dispute resolution mechanisms? How do you manage your relationships with your contractors? And if you have any reporting templates or structures for the contracts that you are awarded. Okay, so looking good so far. Drop questions in the chat if you have any pertaining to contract management or anything else in general. Looking towards your thumbs up for me to proceed towards the other aspects, that is market positioning.
Even on the tool.
Okay, we are waiting for the go ahead from you to proceed. Either through a question in the chat or through a thumbs up. Okay, so contracts. So we have a question from Jessica. So the contracts are not limited to oil and gas. Okay, for this tool, we are only limiting you to oil and gas. If you've managed contracts elsewhere, we are not recording that at the moment. Also, when you customize the tool to use it for other purposes, you can make reference to other projects outside oil and gas. But as you're filling out this tool, let's stick to oil and gas. Okay, so another question coming in from Dilham. Do the dispute resolution mechanisms? Okay, let me try to make sense of the question. Do the dispute resolution mechanisms probe with E, okay, probe only issues in the operations, or does it cut across day-to-day engagement among employees of the company? Are you unmuted? Because then you could answer. Okay.
I think the dispute resolution being referred to here is as you are executing the contract. So it is not internal to your company, it is between you and your contractor as you deliver on the contract.
All right. So Dilham, we have a question on employees down there. You saw something about complaint handling and so on. So now we are looking at contract management. Thank you, Dilham. Let's proceed to market positioning. How have you positioned your business to access new markets, grow and diversify? So do let us know. Do you have a business plan? Do you have a marketing plan? And all these are for the current year, 2025, or anything for 3 years, at least including 2025. Then, do you have any niche expertise as your company? Please do mention which one. And for those that need to know and understand what a niche is.
A niche is that particular segment of the market that the company may target. For instance, you may think about general clothes. You might be somebody living in clothes. You might find that your niche is on wedding clothes. So that is your niche. That's where your particular effort. You're not looking at general clothing.
Okay. So it's that thing that makes you stand out of the competition. And when you focus on a particular segment, then you have a niche. So additional things for you to tick yes or no. Do you have a strategy to engage your customers and manage your relationships with them? Do please click yes or no. Okay, so let's move down to how you access markets. Do you have any social media channels? Anything, be it YouTube, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, where you market and access new customers? Do you have a website? If yes, type it out for us, www.yourbusiness. And then, do you have an export license? These licenses are usually acquired from Uganda Export Promotion Board. If you've processed one in the past, kindly indicate and the countries to which you're exporting. When you look at diversification, let's dive deep, like explain what diversification we mean here.
Diversification means that your business either operates in more than one market, which means you could be operating here in Uganda, but you sell to other territories, say Rwanda or Kenya, or it could simply mean that you have more than a few products. For example, you'll see currently you have Coca-Cola dealing in their soda, but they also have now water. So that's different products. That's also diversification. The whole idea behind it is to allow you to make as much revenue from different products, which many times usually have seasonal patterns to them. So overall, it is to safeguard your revenue, sources of revenue.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation, please.
Yeah, maybe for us to add here, you could look at the forward and the backward linkages under the oil and gas, because you may be providing a service at the oil rig, and then probably go ahead and provide a service at the end product, maybe offering the sales services for the byproducts of oil. Thank you.
Good. So you now know whether you diversify or not. Please indicate to us with a yes or no. For diversification, we also want to know if you access any regional or international markets and which countries, and also if you're part of any joint ventures or partnerships. Remember, we discussed that these enhance your market access and diversification perspectives. Okay, looks like we are fully wrapped up on market access. Kindly use the comment chat section to drop a question for clarity, or give us a thumbs up. What is easier for you? What would you rather give us today? A thumbs up. Okay. Let's proceed to risk management. This is pretty straightforward, and it entails your company having a risk management plan, a risk register, an advisor or risk manager, and whether you have any policies, company insurance policies to help you manage risks in and there. I'm hoping this is very clear, but the chat section remains open and also giving you time to click accordingly, and also reminding you that we have that qualitative input where we want to identify additional factors pertaining to risk management in your organization. Okay, let's move further down ahead to human resource management, assuming human risk management is good. So we want to know, do you have an employment handbook or at least a code of conduct? Yes or no? Do you have a staff record keeping system? Yes or no? Do you have an HR personnel? Doesn't have to be a manager, anyone in charge of personnel at your company? Yes. Then do you have a policy for recruiting and staffing staff? We click yes or no. Then do you have any system where employees can log complaints in your company? Please do click yes or no. Okay. As usual, tell us about major staffing and recruitment challenges faced by your company. And also, do let us know about any additional comments. If you have questions, the chat is open, and let us proceed to training and development already, as you utilize the chat for anything that may remain outstanding. So do you have a competence development framework? Let's highlight that a bit more, what we mean by a staff competence or development framework.
A staff competence development framework shows the current positions that you have at the moment and whether they have the necessary skills. So you list that you might need a skill to grow your business, and you want to use the existing staff to build their capacity. So this framework will help you identify which capacity you need to build, but it also looks at your future needs for the company. You look at how you want the company to grow and the kind of competencies that you want, so you are able to plan to either skill the staff or to get on new staff where the skills are missing. Thank you.
Okay, so if you have a matrix or framework in place to develop skills and capacities of your staff, click yes. But do you have a training plan? Is there anything that has been prepared to know when and how the staff are going to be trained? Let's look at performance management. Do you have a system to evaluate performance for your staff? And when we look at compensation benefits, do you offer any allowances? If yes, you list which allowances. And let us know also if you have a company salary structure for your staff, and whether you have any staff medical schemes and annual bonuses and performance rewards. So that would pretty sum up your HR performance. If there is any area you could not click because you did not fully understand, do drop us a question in the chat. Otherwise, we will wait for a brief thumbs up before moving on to the concluding sections of this tool. All right, thank you. Sustainability, we have categorized the the aspects into three. So just simply let us know if you have any policies that relate to environmental management. It could be waste or water management. Then do let us know if you have any policies that relate to social aspects within your company. And we are looking at corporate social responsibility, human rights, community engagement, supply chain management, anything that makes you more socially responsible as an enterprise. Please do list them and click yes or no as appropriate. For governance, we look at any policies targeting transparency, diversity, gender inclusion, and list as appropriate. In addition, we would want to know whether you partake in any environmental training and awareness programs as a company, if you send staff, whether you have a clear sustainability action that has been undertaken before. Have you, for example, performed an environmental impact assessment for your company before? Whether you report on sustainability at all, whether you have any committees to manage sustainability, and whether you track your company's emissions regularly. Please do indicate as you may see fit. Okay. We are hoping you've clicked, and do remember questions in the chat. We are coming to the end of this all. Don't fret. And last but not least, we want you to indicate which certifications you have. Do you have the 9001 for quality management? Do you have the 14,001 for environmental management? Do you have the 45,001 for occupational health and safety? And in addition, do you have anything else, any other sector specific certifications, be it ISO or anything outside ISO? Click yes and do let us know what certifications your company has. Okay. With that, we conclude key aspects of the themes. We've covered quite a number of aspects. For now, our expectations are that you are able to understand how to complete and accurately give a reply as a yes or a no. Any pending issues that require clarification, we are going to leave the chat open for you to pose those additional questions. And you don't forget to reach us via email if you want to complete the tool and realize that, oh, this I did not understand, I require additional clarification. We should be able to get back to you via email. However, when you look at the tool and also realize that there are certain aspects that the IEC could have forgotten, but you do regard them as extremely important, and they are really affecting your participation, and they are ruining your chances of winning bids. We want those indicated such that we can follow up appropriately and also design appropriate capacity building interventions to make sure that these aspects do not remain or become a bigger issue for your positive participation in the sector. For now, we do not see new questions in the chat. We want to assume that we've been quite clear on the components that you're supposed to fill out. Yes, thanks, Jessica. Unfortunately, M&E gets always forgotten, but it's something we deem as important. We are only saving the best for last. So when we click on the M&E, remember we told you we just require your brief input. Please do fill that out also. We just want to know, have you attended any of our capacity building interventions? Just ignore if you haven't. Don't ignore, just tick no. Yes, say no. Please don't ignore us. We will feel so bad, but do let us know for M&E. We just want to be clear that due to the intervention of the IEC, your company has been able to enhance or improve performance. We want to make our work with you a bit more attributable. We want to know that when we came in as the IEC, you had limited chances of winning bids, but as we work with you and support you, you're able to improve various aspects within your enterprise. So kindly do support us in completing the simple M&E questions. And when we look at the chat, yes, thank you, Jessica, for that reminder. We're almost going to close it out without mentioning, but we don't want to go just yet. Is there a deadline for submitting the tool? The deadline is 3 working days from today. No, for the people who attended today, it's today. So you have today, tomorrow, and Friday to complete the tool. We hope that by Friday you would have completed in time for the action plan next week. This particular cohort is coming back to the center in physical on 7th May. So on 7th May, cohort 2, please do come in. We want you to come into the session with your laptop, if possible. Actually, where possible, maximize and bring along a laptop because we want to go through your action plan in detail with the coaches. The Industry Enhancement Center is located along Plot 12 Ngabo Road. If you require, did we share details of the location? We can send you a reminder for that meeting on Tuesday next week, Wednesday next week, clearly directing you to the center. We want to meet you. We are eager to meet you. We've had 2 online sessions already, but we want to meet the enterprises that we are going to accompany on this journey. So submit by Friday, such that by Wednesday, when you come in for your action planning exercise, we have the tool ready. Sorry? Okay. So before we conclude, we also want to share a link with you where you can submit the tool. But we are as curious as we can get. We want to know those who have been filling out as we go. Please put in that comment section how many marks you were able to score preliminary. It doesn't have to be the final mark. We just want a feel and an indication of what the score was. If you want to look up the score, look up the sheet that says assessment summary. That average score at the end below. In our dummy enterprise, we scored 55%, which is slightly above average. And the area where we scored so poorly was bid management with 17%. The area where we scored poorly was compliance, operational efficiency, and sustainability. So as we do the action planning, emphasis and priorities, of course, given to the areas where we are low performing, but we shall try to balance the scorecard for you. Okay, thank you, Jude. It's 15. Thank you, Ambrose. It's 43%. Could we have more insights? Preliminary insights, doesn't have to be accurate. What are we looking like? What kind of figure are we dealing with? Jude and Ambrose, thank you. Frank, it's a 28. Rosette, it's a 66. Okay, there is a question here, Madam. Is there a deadline? We said Friday. This Friday, those would be the 3 working days, my dear Dilham. So Vanessa, it's a 49%. Jessica, it's a 56. Desire, it's a 29. Cedric, it's a 50. Prudence, it's a 35. Real investments are 25. Jarin, a 53. Lillian, a 36. Shiba, a 60. So it's really varied, but this gets us motivated. By the time we are done with you people, we shall be seeing 80s. And this is not a means to an end. Remember, these figures are only the starting point for us to strive towards preparing better bids and winning and obtaining access to opportunities in oil and gas. So it's just a number for now, but at the end of the training program, it will translate into an opportunity, a contract, or a bid. Okay. So Douglas, it's a 54. Maureen, do you want to get us arrested? You're asking whether there are employment opportunities in the IEC? No. For enterprise development purposes, we want to keep you at your lovely enterprise. And I urge you to stay with it, because after the bespoke training opportunities, bespoke capacity building program, you'll also be proud of the enterprise. If you're referring to employment opportunities in the sector, that's different. We also post these on our website. Let's type for you our website, and we urge you all to visit our website for regular updates. Don't forget the registration link, people, because to proceed, we shall look at those companies that have registered to provide further updates. So thank you very much, people. We have an insight into your scores. Thank you very much. We are looking towards meeting you all next week. That will be Wednesday, to reiterate, Wednesday, 7th May. That time, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Did we say 9 or 10? Let's just double check it. It's probably 9. Please do come in at 9 with a laptop where possible, and then let's see what happens. On the action plan, those who are asking for more light, we went through this last session, but when you come in, we shall look at the results you've scored and where you're underperforming, and then derive a detailed action plan with milestones and key deliverables. This will be done in person, and it will be one-on-one. Thank you, Jude, for that question. One last one from Janet. One last one. Okay, it's a statement. My boss owns 2 companies, but the other was not registered for this training. Can they register for this training now? Because we are now enrolled with PAU. So Janet, we have a few more slots in the 3rd cohort. Drop us an email. We shall send you a link for that company of your boss. Thank you for loving your boss and caring that both companies benefit. We shall share a link, and then that other company can also benefit. Thank you for that. Kudos. Okay. Is the comment section running dry, or do you require clarification on anything else? Otherwise, as we plan, the email has been noted, Janet. Let's note it. So as we wrap up the meeting and session today, allow me to thank you once again for making the commitment to attend the session today. We had a total of 80 participants at the time of closing. This is really commendable. And 150 registered. Oh, okay. The M&E is wondering why we only have 50 registrations. Please don't drop out. Please register your attendance. We thank you too. Watch out for the link. Let's display it. It was also in the email we shared, but once you've completed your tool, submit it to the link that we are displaying here. Okay, Janet, you were able to join in a bit later. Let's share the registration link again, but also where to submit the tool, because we don't want you to keep it after. We want you to share it with us. So that's the registration link. But, okay, we are taking note of the additional companies you want us to invite for the bespoke. Thank you, David. But let's share the registration link, where you mean the submission link. Is this the submission link? Okay, it's here. We also shared it to you via email. Look at that presentation and please upload your completed tool using this link. So we thank you once again.
Yeah.
Yes. So do please submit your link before the deadline, your tool. From us at the IEC, it has been myself, Christine, Sandra, and Danielle, and also from your facilitators, who you will all meet next week. From Matt Abacus, we wish you a lovely week, and please keep time next week. So bye-bye. Chat remains open for additional comments, but bye-bye for now.